if you're a collector of Hot Wheels, you will for sure know that Hot Wheels, quote unquote, modify a lot of their stuff. They do a lot of customs of existing cars. They, quote unquote, tune it up for a lot of cases. And for collectors, and myself included, we're not necessarily always love that kind of stuff. A lot of us just like basic castings, kind of stock looking. And of course, these have kind of a range, right? This is I'm sorry, this Mustang is sucking away all the light from the universe. It's so bright right now, but I don't really have a way of adjusting it. Oh, it's better now. This custom is a current generation. It's custom 2018 Ford Mustang GT is obviously not as custom as, for example, this this VW T1 van, or not van, T1 bus, turn it into a car transport, or another T1 that has been tuned up, made a lot shorter, and open up the hatch. They put a couple of skateboards here, also wheelie bar. So these are not always the stuff collectors want, and I have a few of them. Oh, there's actually another one that I acquired very recently that I think it's cool enough to showcase. This is another one of Hot Wheels' oldest castings. Well, not oldest, it's one of Hot Wheels' older castings, I should say. This is a custom 1953 Cadillac. So it turned the standard Caddy into a kind of a pickup truck with a downhill racer at the back. But I'm not the biggest fan of those kind of cars. I have a few of them. I think a lot of it is interesting, really interesting as a toy of a kid. I think kids will be much more excited about this than like a standard T1 bus, because, I mean, without knowing the history of it, I don't think kids are really going to care about it. But one of the ones I really love, in a very, very endearing way, is the Metrorail. You can see this is the Metrorail. This is the 2000 first edition Hot Wheels version of the vehicle. And it says it doesn't have anything down here, but it has Metrorail, but interestingly enough, copywritten DCC. So it doesn't say in the first edition, it does say in later editions, but the Metrorail is actually based on a real car. That is the Nash Metropolitan. The Nash Metropolitan is one of it's a very old American subcompact car, if the term existed back then, which apparently it did not. And if you look at this picture and this, you see the same line going down here and back there. And the front are indeed pretty much the same. Obviously, Hot Wheels isn't as detailed as a real car as you would expect. But there's a few differences, right? First of all, this giant engine coming out of the hood. These pipes down here making it look like a Mad Max car. And obviously, just how long this whole section is. So Hot Wheels took the Nash Metropolitan, a pretty standard civilian vehicle, and turned it into a drag racer, into kind of like a funny car. As a funny car, it doesn't open up the hood, but yeah, basically designed for drag racing. I got this from a lot a while ago. I was looking for a couple other cars in the lot, and I got this. I was like, oh, this is an interesting looking Hot Wheels original model, and I look it up, it's not. There's a couple other versions. One of my favorite basic models is the something that came out. Let's see, what year did this one come out? This one is from 2002. And it's done in a police style. And I think not necessarily Japanese police, but there's Japanese writings down here, Japanese writing up here. And this time you actually see that they are calling it the Nash Metropolitan. It's no longer the Metrorail. And you see down here, it still says Metrorail. And DCC, by the way, this is the Daimler Chrysler Corporation, because Nash merged with Hudson to become the AMC, the American Motor Company, which was then became a part of Chrysler, and Daimler Chrysler Corporation. That's why the DCC is there. And for such a weird little thing, and in my opinion, probably a very niche thing, Hot Wheels did a surprising amount of premium models for this. There's quite a few ones for Larry's Garage, and one from one of the most legendary lines in Hot Wheels history. Originally, horrible peg warmers, but now one of collector's classic, and that's Boulevard. That's right. There's still Boulevard happening right now. I'm not talking about the Car Culture Cruise Boulevard. I'm talking about Hot Wheels Boulevard. You still see those. That's where you get the, for instance, the new Koenigsegg. And yeah, this was one of them. They came in mixes, different releases, and this is Legends. It says here again, Metrorail. This is interesting. This is actually a registered trademark. I think that's an R there. Maybe I'm mistaken. So that's a Hot Wheels own trademark. And Nash Metropolitan. And this one actually doesn't even exist on the Hot Wheels wiki, which I'm hoping to update it in a little bit. And this is the car. And this one done in the, not the full premium treatment, but like premium as it was done back then, because you can see there's no headlight printing anywhere here, which is unfortunate. Nothing in the back either. But let's see, is there anything? There's nothing on the front of these two. And yeah, there were nothing in the back either, so they probably just didn't even have the printing tools needed for this. But they did deck out the top, make it look like a convertible, which is really cool. Because if you look at the older pictures, you do see the top is supposed to be a different color, but obviously to save costs, Hot Wheels hasn't done that. And this thing feels really heavy in the hand. The engine piece and the interior piece are done with the same piece. It's chrome silver and it's plastic, but everything else is metal. And it rides on real rider wheels, of course, and it still has a wheelie bar. And you can do weird things with it. So I think, in my opinion, this is a very, I don't know, how should I call it? It's not underrated because people just wouldn't care about it, and under normal circumstances, I would not care about them. I just think it's a very interesting, very niche, this way, yeah, very interesting, very niche Hot Wheels casting. A really cool modified version on a car that itself is pretty interesting and pretty niche in this day and age. I think Hot Wheels has done a great job, and I'm very glad because the, like I said, Hot Wheels Boulevard, the classic Boulevard, is kind of achieved legendary status now, similar to Speed Machines. It's one of the lines that did really poorly, but now everyone loves them. So because very few people are actually interested in them, I actually got this for a very good price. Shipped took me $7, which is roughly, if it's this thing is made right here, right now, that's how much Hot Wheels will be selling them on like Target and stuff. So I'm really glad to have a premium Metrorail / Nash Metropolitan in my collection. I just think it's a casting people might want to take a second look at, but obviously if the customs, Hot Wheels custom stuff is not your thing, it's not your thing, right? It's usually not my thing either. But yeah, I think for myself, this is a very special model for me, and I will love it and treasure it forever and ever.